It's Friday!
Yup,
Welcome to Your View. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Mariamo.
Hello.
Again, published author. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I will have to get used to this.
Yeah.
You know, when you finally get the book out, that's just really not much. The work starts now. The marketing to make sure that people are buying. Now is the work. All the writing, the brainstorming, the editing, the publishing, that's done. But now we're on the road trying to just organize the tours and just make the
awareness.
Awareness there. But also, I've been talking a lot about my book. I haven't talked about lifestyle with ML in a while. So for this year, we've started our first challenge. It's called the Declutter Challenge. We're trying to take away all distractions so that we can focus on what is important. That's our health. You know, that sometimes losing weight is not really about the fact that you've been eating badly. It's just that you're not organized, you're in your head. But if you're able to take out all those things that distract you, you find that to do all the healthy things to make your life better will just come so easily.
Like what? Like, give me an example of what that distracts you.
Have a morning routine. So, you know, when I wake up, I say my prayers. Immediately, I wear my gym clothes and I get to work out. So imagine if I was so disorganized, my workout clothes, I have to, when I wake up in the morning, I have to look for them. By the time you're done looking, you're like, I'm not interested anymore. But if you had put them aside the night before, you get up, you wear them, you work out. And something I like to do is that when I work out, I know I'll have a cold shower. So, you know, but if I don't work out, I don't want to have a cold shower. And cold showers are actually better for you. So things like that.
How are you doing, Nima? Good tips.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. I need a bit of rest.
Yes.
But I'm very grateful for the...
After that trauma, you should have rested, actually.
Very grateful for the love that I got. I usually don't post things like that. But yesterday I was just thinking and just thought to express my gratitude on my page, and my phone has not rested.
Yeah. That's exactly the way I felt when I was in Magodo. Like, I held my phone at the gates, and I wanted to record. I looked at myself like, I don't want this to be what I'm pushing into the world. So I put the phone back in my bag, and you know, a lady beside me said, I follow you. I know what you're thinking. You don't want to spread negativity. And it was just so apt. And just being yourself is very important, because everybody kept trying to get me to go live and show what's going on. It just wasn't congruent with the way I was feeling at that moment. And I just put the phone down, and a lady that follows me online randomly was right beside me, saw what happened, and processed what I was doing. But yesterday evening, after a very stressful day, and I was feeling like I was overwhelmed with work, and I don't have a maid, so I'm cooking, I'm shouting, put the plates down, wash the plates, all of that. I just felt like this is all too much. Then I just played music. God will bless
music.
This music. Two particular artists. There's this, oh gosh, she's a gospel artist. She sang Excess Love. Jesus, you love me too much. Oh. No, it wasn't Sinach. And I listened to like her entire album. I slept with so much energy. You know, like this was me, no difference. Just changing the music, changing the way I was feeling, started dancing, and everything just got better.
Well done. Well, yesterday I got my booster.
Yay! Oh, you did? How are you feeling?
I feel great. I got my booster. I'm alive and well. So
no wonder. I thought there's something different about you. You look very boostful.
Well, I got my booster. So I got 3. Now I'm 97%. You know, first one is 60, then 85, now I'm 97%. You know, COVID, you ain't got me. Let's go on a break. I mean, come back. We're going to go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Buhari to APC, intra-party rift. Invitation to PDP victory. Call for sack of Governors Forum DG. Kidnapped victims freed. Shell eyes the $3 billion from sales of assets. 2 million Nigerians get 10 billion naira monthly stipends. Really? No plan to sack workers, says federal government. Defense headquarters to politicians don't wear military camouflage to campaign rallies. And Oyetola to run for second term. Okay, which story are we taking? Major headline.
President Muhammadu Buhari talking to his own house that, you know, if we need to put our house in order, that the issues confronting them that they have not been able to have a party convention is due to inter-party issues, and that if they don't rest these issues and solve them, they should know what happened to the PDP in 2015 when they thought that it would be impossible for any party to beat them, but then they left their house in disorder, and that he didn't assent the electoral bill because he feels that the party structure should be bottom-up structure, where party members are given power to choose their leaders in their councils, in their wards, in their constituencies and polling units, and that's what he supports. That he knows that it might not make sense to some of his party members now, but it will eventually, and that those are his stance. He feels that it is clear. Our constitution provides only 4-year tenure, 4 years per tenure for any party, and that if in 4 years, now that his own time is due, the party doesn't work well to put the house in order and they are doing the right things, they just might be caught unawares by the PDP in the next elections. So
the Minister of Finance and Budget Planning, National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, has said, remember yesterday I took a story where she said that they will be letting go of civil servants and giving them exit packages because they wanted to implement the Onosonye report of reducing the cost of governance and the size of government. But in today's papers, she's saying that she retracted that, saying that's not what she said. What she was actually saying is that the president says no one should be sacked categorically. However, what they're going to do is that they will implement the Onosonye report by bringing down the size of government, and they might have to therefore redistribute people. Either, for example, they need more teachers, so people might be redistributed, and some will be given severance packages if they had to go. And they call it the rationalization process of the program.
So they just changed the English?
Just to avoid the backlash.
Just to avoid the backlash. At some point, we've all been screaming it. Cost of governance, size of government, it's a lot. So when they want to do it now, we'll not carry placard and say they're sacking. So choose one.
Okay, so the acting director of Defense Information, Air Commodore Wap Maigida, said that they've noticed a trend. You know, we're approaching a lot of elections, and that politicians would wear the military camouflage to take their pictures, for their posters, and that a lot of politicians are going to the habit of wearing the military camouflage on their campaign, and that they are warning politicians not to do so because the army must remain apolitical, and that they don't want them to start using inferences of the army's support in any of their political campaign, and that it waters down the power that the army represents. Anyway, you have been warned, politicians, find other ways to represent your strength and your commitment to secure lives without wearing the military camouflage.
We have a really sad story coming from Zamfara. They say over 200 persons have been killed in Anka and Bukoyim local government area in Zamfara by fleeing bandits. So we know of the continuous military onslaught in the forest in the Zamfara and Sokoto areas. And so a lot of these bandits have been living. And they said that there was a large number of the bandits living with livestock. Eyewitnesses say they had about 3,000 cattle. And then people in this village saw them approaching, and their vigilante decided to come out to defend their people. Unfortunately for them, they were overpowered by these bandits, and they killed so many of them. Many women and children were killed. 2 other villages, apart from that, they said were completely burnt down. And these 3 villages, Rafindanya, Kufa, and Rafingero, were completely burnt down by these bandits. Many villages suffered heavy casualties. So we're waiting to hear from the government concerning this sad news.
Moving on now to the Punch. Super Tucano deployment. NAF plans bandits, bombardments, allays fears over civilian casualties. U.S. wants federal government. Picture here of the demolition from the Lagos State government at Ogba, at Akilo Road. That's on the buildings that were under the power lines. Lagos community decries cemetery invasion by suspected ritualists and robbers. Soldiers withdraw. Akeredolu deploys police, NSCDC, and Moteco in Ondo prisons. Responses to my presidential bid overwhelmingly encouraging, says Ayem. Uninformed persons causing tension in Olubadan succession. Balogun is next, says Lajoda. Bloodbath in Zamfara. Communities as bandits killed 200 scores missing. APC entrenched interests plotting to demarket me, Fayemi alleges. and federal government will merge agencies, won't sack workers, says Finance Minister. Okay, which story?
Major headline.
Yeah.
So the United States has warned Nigeria that the use of the Super Tucano must comply with international norms as articulated in the United Nations Charter. And so it says that they understand that the government is working hard to fight ISIS and Boko Haram and ISWAP, but they also make sure that human rights are being protected. They said that we're pleased that the Nigerian Air Force has used the 829 Super Tucano successfully against Boko Haram, ISIS, ISWAP, but we have a code of conduct, that determines how this should be used. And so the Nigerian Air Force was also asked, and they said, well, they would not just use these Super Tucano jets anyhow, that it will be based on intelligence-driven operations, that they are assuring Nigerians that there will be no casualties, innocent lives will not be involved, that they will target only terrorists, and we wish them all the best.
Okay.
This problem-solving cap, the governor of Ondo State has decided, since the Nigerian Army withdrew from the prisons in Ondo, to deploy the NSCDC and the Nigerian police and other security agencies to man the prisons. He had said that their living was going to induce jailbreaks, and he was afraid that it was an invitation to attack of the prisons. But now he's found solution. So the NSCDC's Oga Patapata that reported there said that they'll be working, and they need intelligence from the people around to assist them. They have resumed; they will be manning and taking over the prisons there.
Okay, let's check the story. When I read the headline about former Secretary to the government, Pius Ayim, said that responses to...
I saw that.
He said, response to my presidential bid overwhelmingly encouraging. I had to just read it. But here's one thing he said that is very important. He said that he's appealing, like all well-meaning Nigerians, to all the parties to zone their presidential candidate to the south and southeast. That because if they don't, the challenges we are facing at the moment with that zone will remain a burden to the nation. He also mentioned the fact that whether they zone to the southeast or they zone to the south or they don't zone anything, he will still contest. He has already declared his intention to contest. He believes that it would be a good candidate for the country. But what I feel is, he said was important, that the unfairness that they have been complaining about from that side should be considered when they come to zoning. Also, there was major panic rather in Osogbo following the movement of cattle. They say about 1,000 cattle were brought in by herders in the evening in Omobolanle area. People that sighted the cattle called Amotekun. The Amotekun official immediately responded and had a chat that the herders were unharmed. They had no ammunition, and there were just 12 herders leading about 1,000 cattle, and they've sort of like guided them away from the panicked citizens of the state.
Okay, final story in Punch. So the Lagos community in Ikorodu, Otuja Harmony Estate, are complaining of the continuous invasion of invasion to actually to their Eyita Sabo cemetery by suspected ritualists. Recently, a young man called Kayode was arrested. He came to cut off a hand and heart of a fresh corpse at this cemetery, and they said they've complained several times to the local government chairman, and according to them, the local government chairman only did 3 lights, but it's not enough for that entire cemetery. That they need more illumination, they need more security, and they need more fences to guard that cemetery. There are lots and lots of rituals. People even use that for all these kidnappers and robbers use it as a hideout for criminal activities. That they should please come to their aid. You need them to ensure that cemetery is safe. That all the corpses in recent times, half of them have been stolen. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back,
Our country.
we continue with the reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Daily Sun. 2023 military warns governors and politicians. We mentioned that. Age telling on me for working long hours, says Buhari. 2023 APC members plotting to defame and demarket Mrs. Fayemi. State of the nation, Buhari rationalizing failure, says PDP. Presidency Southeast PDP backs AIM. Kanu will insist on political solution, Ohaneze tells Buhari. And only Malians can solve their problems, says President. Okay.
Regular Malians, from Mali.
People from Mali, not
Yeah,
like
so
Malians.
our president sat down for an interview, and in the interview he was talking about how he is looking forward to when he would finally, in 17 months, hand over. And he says that it's age is telling on him that working 6, 7, 8 hours in the office, it takes a toll on you. He says that, they asked him some questions, and in response, he said that maybe at the end, Nigerians may not appreciate him, but he hopes that at the end of it, they would say he has done his best. And he also says he promised that insecurity is something that he'll try and make sure it's dealt with while he's still in office. It's not something that he would like for it to be carried over. He's talking about so many things that are going on here in Nigeria, in the southeast, the northeast, the south, and he says that if Nigerians would tell themselves, or if people would tell themselves the truth, they'd remember how the northeast and the south was when they came in, and look at the progress that they have, achieved in that time. Just, telling us, but mainly, I guess he was talking about his age. He said that, that the part about his age and working 6, 7 hours, I guess that's what a lot of Nigerians have been talking about. I'm looking for a way to say this. So maybe going forward, we should look for someone that 6, 7, 8 hours may not be too much.
If he knew that, if he knows his age now, I listened
to his interview when he said he should leave a word for Nigerian youth. He said that he hopes to see the Nigerian youth that graduates, goes to school, does their best, and get the best result, and don't come out and think government will have a job waiting for them. Okay. So they have the mentality to create a job. I heard that part. So I'm not wondering 8 hours, 6 hours. You just know, for you to know.
Please, leave Baba alone. Let's move on. So, Governor Fayemi, we want to continue?
No, it's talking about the PDP's response to that interview. The PDP said that our president was rationalizing his failures, and that there was a lot of misinformation. And they carefully broke down. So I'm not going to deal with the political side, because there was a lot of verbal attack that is not necessary for us. But there were breakdowns of. The presidency said that crude oil sold at $100 during PDP time, which wasn't true. There were different prices that when they came into power in 1999 it was $16 per barrel, and that at no point under the president's rule had it dropped that low, and all that they did. Then they also mentioned that the president was unable to answer the case of 12 trillion naira debt stock, which is now at 32 trillion naira. So there was a lot of let's leave politics aside and just focus on the facts on ground to measure success, and that way we will prepare ourselves effectively for 2023.
Anyways, so still on the 2023 possibilities, Governor Fayemi has said that there's some entrenched interest within the APC who are trying to demarket and defame him. According to him, in the coming weeks, we'll be seeing some smear campaign against him because of the supposed ambition for 2023. He hasn't come out to declare that he's interested, but there's speculations that he's actually also hoping to run. So according to him, he's warning us ahead of time that there's a smear campaign coming up, that we should totally disregard it. It's because they're trying to demarket him towards 2023.
What do you think about coming in front of things like this?
You say it,
yes, you say it and then let people think of, oh, okay, and watch out for it. Or you pretend you don't know about it and then you let people
the other way.
Yes.
Moving on
how does that work
to the Vanguard. 15,000 direct, indirect jobs on the line. That's the 10 naira per litre tax on soft drinks. Igbos tackle Buhari on Kano. Oramon in Lagos, chief coroner fixes January 15 for inquest. Declare Miete Allah Makban Funam as terrorist organization, Autumn tells FG. What I said about Olubadan's successor, says Ladoja. No plan to lay off federal workers, says Minister of Finance. And 2023, national mood in favor of Southern President, says IM. Okay,
Major headline.
major headline.
So on this our 10 naira per litre tax on soft drinks, everybody have started talking. The NLC have spoken. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Waba, has written to the president. He said that this is not the first time. He had already written to them. He didn't expect that they would go ahead with this. And everybody is supporting him, saying that about 15,000 direct and indirect jobs, including contract staff, would lose their jobs and means of livelihood. But I wanted to take particularly what the LCCI said, because they made it make sense to me. So the LCCI says that their immediate concerns is that they foresee job loss due to the reduction in production activities with this introduction of the 10 naira tax, and that federal government should ensure that there better enforcement of the prohibition of imported drinks, which will be, produced cheaply and come here to market, rather than make it tougher for the people here to producing here to sell. So that, instead of doing that, they should be thinking about those losses, because, of course, this is engagement for people, most people who are retailers of this product.
I wonder why people protest against the policy, and the policy still goes ahead like nobody protested. It just feels like...
They said the government is looking at 1 billion naira tax between 2022 and 2025 from this money, from these taxes that they would make. But then what they are not looking at is what they would be losing because of the cost of production. They will be losing about 142 billion contract, supposed gains that they might make from VAT alone on this. So a lot of people that are intellectuals are talking. I think everybody should read the Vanguard, including the president and his advisors.
So, Oromoni, that's the update. Yes, so, as we know, based on the DPP's report, everybody was talking about the fact that these young boys were let go, although one might be reopened. So the Ministry of Education has categorically said that they are yet to declare that the school should be open. And also, more important, the Lagos State Chief Coroner, Justice Mojisola Dada, has fixed January 15th for the commencement of inquest into the cause of death. So, just for clarity, the documents we saw was the report from the autopsy pathologist on all sides. So right now, she has asked that the lawyers file and serve the positions of all witnesses. They intend to call for the inquest and for the list of persons whom, in your opinion, needs to be summoned by the court. And it to be an open hearing. So it's an open call where everybody, so just like Toba had said yesterday, we're not done. All we have is a report. So all the witnesses, the parents, the other people that witnessed this, all the other various witnesses can come forward and into an open court and then bring in your depositions. And then from there, before we now have a proper judgment.
I really want to appeal. I want to appeal to everyone who came online to say this happened to my son, or my son told me about bullying. Please don't just hide now and use social media trial. Yes. This is when your testimony is essential to bringing justice.
Absolutely.
So come out and do what you need to do.
We need to go beyond the social media trials. Do the right thing.
So the Ijaw youth, some youth of the Ijaw, under the Ijaw Youth Council that went to the school yesterday to picket that school, are insisting that they are doing this in solidarity with the family, the Oromoni family, and they're insisting that the school mustn't be opened. They're also saying in the report that they would do whatever it takes to get that school closed, to remain closed until this whole thing dies down. I hope that they would use other means to resolve this, talk to them while we have peace.
All right, that's final paper. Let me see how much time we have. Nigerian Tribune, autumn to Buhari, declare Miyetti Allah as terrorist organization. Age telling on me, just like Mariam took the story earlier. I feel bad for our president. Let this barbarist have Troops intercept illicit drugs worth 6.5 million naira in Kaduna. Kill suspect. 300-level unit just students murdered inside hotel room. Body mutilated, eyes missing. Oh my Lord. 2023, Fayemi alleges plots within APC to smear his reputation. Olubadan's stew, Lekon Balogun is next in line to the throne, says Ladoja. And FG explains 6.39 trillion naira deficit in 2022 budget. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll take this poor 300-level student of Unijos who was found dead and her body mutilated. They said that on this particular day, she had gone to meet someone who was supposedly her boyfriend. They stayed in a hotel on Zaria Road. And after a while, you know, I think her friends were looking for her. One of her friends was able to trace her to that hotel. She opened the door and found her, you know, lying dead. She quickly called the hotel management. They came in, they alerted the police. Yeah, her eyes were taken off her out. And the person that was with her had cleared that room of any sign of himself. He had taken her phone and other valuables from her purse. And that's the story. But I'd heard the story first on social media. A lot of people were making it, oh, girls, stop doing runs, stop doing runs. Runs is one thing. Murder is another thing. Because murders happen to anyone. If she was in a relationship with the person, is that a wrong thing to have a boyfriend or have a fiancé or spend time with somebody? That should not be the, you know, that should not justify murder. I hope that they find this person and deal with him squarely.
Let's take the National Assembly story. The National Assembly workers haven't been paid their proper minimum wage for the past 15 months. So they've written a letter, they protested yesterday, and they are threatening to begin strike on Monday. The minimum wage that cuts across everybody, they haven't been getting the complete, they've been getting their old wages. They also mentioned the fact that their complaints haven't been positively responded to since they have been writing the letters. And it seems like we always have to wait until things go on strike before we deal with them.
So the Olubadan, the Osi Olubadan of the late Olubadan, that's former Governor Rashid Ladoja, has cleared the air. He says it's not in dispute with who is next in line. He says that Egbon Lekan Balogun is next in line. The issues were that at the time, they all agreed together to contest the upgrading of the Obaship by the former governor. And they were in court together till everybody withdrew their suits except himself. And so they took the promotion that they got at the time, and they went to court when the new governor came in and decided to resolve the issues out of court. They went to sue the resolution to drop their promotion that the former governor had done. So he's asking Egbon Lekan Balogun to withdraw his suit that is still in court and take over Olubadan too, as is due to.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we return, we move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Was arrested by the Force Intelligence Response Team for kidnapping a 6-year-old boy. During the interrogation, he confessed to have learned the act of kidnapping from watching movies of a Nollywood actor, Zubi Michael. The question is, what impact does our movies have on Nigerians? As we look at that, we also see that even international movies, Hollywood, do have impacts on serial killers abroad. So many of them also say the same thing, where they learn how to kidnap, they learn how to build guns, they learn how to rob banks from big movies on heists and all. So the question goes, what do we do? Do we stop doing movies certain ways so that people don't learn? Or do we continue to encourage movie making regardless of what they're teaching? What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to read your messages. Right, so movie making, I mean, we've seen, and the talk was reminding me of something that my TEDx message sometime, and something that I'd actually done some thesis of over some time, where I'd always try to say that Nollywood must be intentional on how they produce movies, specifically to help open the minds of Nigerians and paint a better picture of what we want to be. So you paint pictures of inventions. You know, you produce a movie where you have a functional police station, and you come in and there's air conditioner, they serve you drinks, you know, and you see real investigation going on. You know, and you call 112, is it 122, is it 112, you know, and it works, you know. That's the movie of the Nigeria we choose. But this guy is an actor, and and this young boy, this young man, learned how to kidnap. So what are your thoughts on this, Tope?
So, Raya decided to start with me. Let me say that my first inclination when I saw this was, we are finished blaming the devil. We have now started blaming movies.
And government. Remember,
we are finished blaming the devil. We are finished blaming government. We have started blaming movie producers and actors. Who will we not blame as excuse for what we want to do? Situations don't change human beings. Situation reveals who we are on the inside. Two people can look at the same movie and pick two different things from it. So it reveals what your innate tendencies are. This person is a criminal-minded person who now got reinforcements on how to perpetrate his crime by watching a movie.
Yeah.
However, I share in Marital's sentiment. We've had this conversation for many years on how we need to change our movie needs to preach, to give us a vision for the future. So when you watch interviews by like Elon Musk and innovators, they'll tell you they watched Star Trek, they watched Matrix, and they saw that the people that started creating phones said they saw Star Trek and saw that you could talk to somebody somewhere. When Star Trek was first produced, there wasn't mobile phone. But somebody saw it in a movie and felt, if they can do it in a movie, I can probably create something like that in real life. And so a young person begins to dream what is possible because somebody sold that narrative to them on TV. My children watch so much cartoons, they feel like Christmas should be white. There should be snow. We should do snow angels. Why? They bought the culture from movies. So movies actually are very, 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 very powerful in informing how we think in subtle ways. However, it will still reveal who you are. And that is who he is. He just revealed who he is.
Yeah, so I totally agree that who you are would be, you would show no matter what. As important as storytelling is and how it can guide and influence our mindset and our way of thinking, who you naturally are, innately are, would still reveal itself. I need to make this, my son, we know Dora the Explorer.
Yes.
And most kids, when they watch it, they want to be Dora the Explorer. But my son, when he was 2, wanted to be Swiper.
So you take it?
Oh my God. Because he thought Swiper was smart. So I now saw that and I became quite intentional about enforcing the story. So also, in a story that's been told, some people would listen and want to be the good guy. Some people want to be the villain because they think the villain is strong, he's smart, and you come back again. So as a parent, I guess that's where parenting comes in. So you see some movies, they say parental guidance. So you're there to enforce what is right and make sure that you're guiding your child to concentrate on what is positive. Right. And he says Nollywood, this particular person says Nollywood taught him kidnapping. Many people watch Nollywood and they learn how to be better people. You know, many people who have learned better values and going to church and things like that. He just decided that he wanted to be a kidnapper. He had found a way to...
He studied the movie to learn what he needed.
So he sought out the movie that would teach him kidnapping. That's how I see it. I'm a kidnapper, and let me look for where to find more information. A lot of times, like in Hollywood movies, we see that, or some of these investigations where they show us how they caught a criminal. They go through their computer logs, and they see some of the things that they type. So you cannot say Google, because they Googled stuff. They will not say Google made me a kidnapper, Google made me a murderer. I went to Google and I searched for how to be a certain thing. But as parents, we need to make sure that we watch our children, guide our children on the messages that they receive from whatever content it is that they are watching.
Ima.
Yeah, but I totally agree with both of you. And I think the movies, just because we have our NBC and all of those people rating this movie, so we know how strong the vision is to the mind. And we cannot now say because he watched it, he chose to. There's that strong power that, you know, what we portray and we want to make very real can attract. You know, the gang of Zubi Michael in movie can just be like, oh, this is who I want to be. And it doesn't have another movie to tell him that, you know, this personality, or maybe the movie in itself did not end by telling him this is a bad personality. Strong as he is, did something bad to society, this is how he was put to shame or something. So we can then have Nigerian producers hear this now and decide to do things like, you know the way they do their sex scenes in the Nigerian movie, where everybody will just close lights. off lights and you know that's
They're
what
off light now.
So now you want to portray a gaga. Don't show the entire bank robbery, breaking, all of that. You can suggest it in the movie and leave the viewers
No,
to
we
know.
don't want that. We want to see the breaking thing because it shows your creativity. It shows how even technologically inclined your movie is.
You see,
They can hide the planning. You know, like what this guy was saying was, he learns how to kidnap. Okay, how you stalk the person, how you look out for where they go regularly. You know, so there's a breakdown of what to do. And he was able to do it.
And now, in explaining yourself, you're teaching somebody that already has
that has the inclination.
So it's what I think. You know, the entire works is not what you need to put out there. You, for an imaginative mind, you leave certain parts for them to imagine. You don't give them the entire solution. I'm saying movie producers' responsibility. What you're saying now is because we are rating ourselves with the entire action that we see in Hollywood. Yes. So we must do Hollywood. But we have our own society.
No, we want to also develop. Our intention, our plan is to be at par with Hollywood eventually and able to beat them. Yeah. So if you can't keep doing.
We think until we get a Hollywood recognition, we have not.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
No, but if you put it as a standard,
let me give you. Let me break it down. Let me break it down.
Okay.
So in Hollywood, right, you want to investigate. You check the social security number, right? And you get information on their bank details, where they've been, when they pay their bills, everything. Here, you want to investigate, you just go to and harass them. So we're not learning from Nigeria. If we want to do it properly, we're okay, going forward, NIN numbers. So our movies going forward, don't just go and harass Mariam and enter her house. Go to a police station in Nigeria, click NIN number, brings up Mariam's everything about her details, her bank details. You don't know how, when she used the credit card last, and you can now trace her. So we are learning that from the Hollywood.
So the police will not have to live up.
Whether we want to accept it or not, it is reality. Now, there are bad movies. There are bad movies abroad, and there are good movies. We have what's that Zoe? Is it Zoe? They have a Christian one. The Christian one. Zion, movies. The MFM guy. Bamidele. He makes. So why don't you guys watch those movies? You see, you will have action.
It's the movies available. That's why I use them.
Zoe 2 is available.
Movie produced. Wait now.
Zoe 2 is available now.
Solve this problem. Okay, in my own house, for instance, there's a particular Toon channel that I feel that the children, I watch them and they're teenagers, they talk to their parents anyhow.
Yes, we all know that channel.
I exit for my children.
Yes.
I always imagine my child grow up and be talking to me like this, so I exit. And NBC has a duty where our taxpayers' money go to do this. And we're saying we must produce at Hollywood standard. Then we don't have the means to solve an Hollywood kind of problem or America's kind of problem. We don't have the means.
So let us wait.
I think
no,
we should
let me bring. Wait, I want to respond to him. Let me use this your example. Let me bring it back to every day. We cannot afford. What's that American? Okay, bacon. Yeah. Right? Let's not stop eating bacon. That's you don't eat it. Let's stop eating bacon and sausages because we don't proceed in Nigeria. Let's focus now on only because that's what we have. So it's the reality, it's the life. Because we cannot be at par, right? Let us go back to the home video and do it our own level because that's the level Nigerians are. That's what you're saying.
So let me put it this way.
Create a Nigerian localized solution to this.
So like I said, I've had this conversation several times with Morayo, and we share similarities. So what she's saying, Nima, that I need you to get is that if our Nollywood movies depict what we have, you went to the police station recently and they told you to go and report somewhere else. If all our children see if like 90% of what they see in Nigerian movies about Nollywood is that when you call the 112 in Nigeria, they pick it. You go to the police station, they do all this, they open the phone, they check it out. Your children will not know that you did not experience it. They will think that's the reality. And then when they grow up, when they go to bed and they don't see it, they'll be questioning why are they not seeing all of this in our movies. We see it happen. And they will start creating it. When that child becomes a police officer, he'll be wondering, why don't we have laptops? These things are not, they're subliminal. They're not factual. It is in your subconscious. You just start thinking that, but the movies, everything I see, it should be like this.
A new future for your children. So your reality is not what their reality. Their movie has painted a new Nigeria for them. So Gufran is watching a proper Nigerian hospital. That actually treats Nigerians. That they don't go there and are complaining. So your lamentation ends in your generation. So Gufran begins to see through Nollywood. Let me go on a break. I'll let you digest that. And you respond. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing Hollywood, Nollywood, and how the content we're creating is influencing behavior. And before the break, I wanted Nima to take in what we said, and I'd like you to respond.
I took it in, and I think you guys just agreed with me.
Okay.
So now, using your solution, can we portray a movie with Zubi Michael as a bank a criminal, but put the consequence so that this guy who watched it will not be inclined to want to do this? Because now he's saying, I'm from a well-raised home. I come from a good background. I just loved the action, and it's just for the action that I did this. So he probably saw a movie and saw only the action, but didn't see the consequence.
No, I'm usually sure. Those movies usually have
Nigeria, we
consequences.
overdo all Nigerian movies.
Some movies have
They
consequences.
don't show you heaven and
They
hell.
don't show, no, not heaven and hell. They don't, Nigerian movies don't show the police and the execution. Where I hated criminalism was from watching Hollywood movies, execution, and how blacks were always, the justice system was always quick for blacks accused falsely and then the execution. I still do that documentary all the time, watching it and just hating the racism in this justice system there. Can we do a movie that totally portrays this and let NBC say, okay, this is what we want to promote now, consequence? Maybe by now, all these things that we have around that are, getting into politics are
just using this statement
laundry.
to
No, I'm just saying.
There are usually consequences in movies.
No.
Let me take Timmy.
No, I will give you consequences when you come back. I'm coming back.
Either they come weary, they are weary. Or they go to
in Nigerian movie, after they die, and evil always gets
something
talking
about consequences.
I'll give you one.
Let me take Timmy.
I'm giving you. I'm going to.
Timmy, good morning. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yes. Yes, thank you. I very much like the discussion, the topic. Now, if you look at our movies, I have always been one that is against these ritual movies, encouraging people that you can make money by ritual killing, by torturing people, that whatever these movies depict that is negative, that is not true. NBC should control such movies.
Very important.
They have rape. They should classify them and ban some.
And enforce it.
Completely, that you cannot do this on Nigerian movies. If it is to go to the theaters, it's a choice. But where we are watching on TV, for example, there must be control.
All right. Thank you, Timmy. I think we should give credit to Nollywood. They've improved from that. I think a lot of people have complained about this. And we've seen a lot of modern movies today that haven't really done that. And they've really taken that feedback. In fairness to them.
Let me give you an example. Over the holiday, I watched a movie called Fine Wine. So usually when I watch regular Nollywood movie, when it's a relationship, there's fighting, constant rank. People are always fighting. I mean, if there's a man and there's a woman, then there's a fight. You just never see the easy, breezy, light-hearted stories about people who are in love. And I saw that, and it was refreshing. It was Nigerian through and through, and I felt so proud. It was not a deep movie. It did not send any heavy message, just to show that people can actually coexist peacefully and lovingly and easily, and you can move on, and live. There are sometimes you watch these movies, they're just easy, breezy, nice movie. But so I want to use that example also for my book. When I was writing my book, I was very careful that we know Nigerian children, they've read all the Oyinbo books. The Oyinbo books are big. The illustrations are bright and happy. And when we see our Nigerian books, normally, it's either they're like photocopied papers, the pictures are in black and white, the illustrations are not so. So for me, I wanted the Nigerian children to open this book that I had written and see Nigerian names, Nigerian pictures, Nigerian geography, and enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
So I learned let's say, from Hollywood or from Western way of doing things. Those are the things that attract children. I learned from that and localized it. And now a Nigerian child will look at this and feel really proud.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and I like to corroborate that because I read the book, and it gives you, it opens your mind. You made it so that there's no way you don't read that book and you feel like, King of vultures. You know, you're thinking, she brings out this, she brings it to life. And it was a fantastic book you did. So the point we're trying to make, however, is that let us stop creating our reality in our movies.
Yes.
Don't create the fact that you went to police station, they didn't answer you, and the person is using to chewing stick in the morning and sleeping on the table. What we see is our reality. Is what you see when you go down the street. What you experience. Don't shut down in our movies. Because we have seen it. What I want you to show in our movies is the reality, the best and new reality for my child. So my child is watching a Nollywood movie, I think, really, in this country? So that is what we want Nollywood to do. And I think many of them are getting that feedback. And they're gradually changing the narrative in our movies.
Because there was a time that all our movies were wicked stepmother. You know, it was a permanent depiction. So much that people are scared of getting married because they just feel like every mother is every stepmother will be a wicked stepmother or a witch.
So I will not mention the names of these movies. So a movie, two Nollywood movies, trying to they were very well shot modern Nollywood movies, and the rape scene that happened, and the poor girl, you know, towards the end had to take justice into her own hands because the system wasn't working, and then eventually at some point they will just show police then coming. Nobody shows investigation, questioning in the movie. Then they show police coming, arrest the rapist, and then they just right there, he was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. Can somebody show us that process?
Yes, yes.
She's right. No, the legal jargon, let us know. You know how we know Miranda rights? Every Nigerian knows the Miranda rights.
The evidence taking. We talk about it every day when we sit here, but people still can't imagine it. So I am agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I like that.
Just want to say, if the movie must show the reality, the action, show the consequence,
absolutely,
the entire process to that consequence, the number of years sentence, and the person locked jail.
Fantastic.
So what I want to say is that with Nollywood, it's so widespread. There are different genres. You watch a movie, and what it concentrates on is just the good side of the story. And then we have movies and series that all they do is about their police and crime and how they do the investigation. It goes from one place to the other. And so what we should be telling Nollywood is expand into different genres. Let's have police and crime series. Let us see how you go in, how you investigate, how you do
pause you for a second. Dr. Moyo has been holding very well. Dr. Moyo, are you there? Hello, Dr. Moyo, are you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning. Your topic caught me up this morning. But we must understand that make-believe, what is make-believe? It is not real. We just to pass a message. However, it is the type of message that is passed that has influence on...
Oh, sugar. Sorry about that. So, yes.
Finish it. So I remember last year, an 11-year-old girl in the UK was almost kidnapped. She was in a park, and a man approached her, and she fought him off. And they asked her, how did she get the courage to do it? She said, from watching CSI, Crime and Investigation series. And the actors in that movie called her, and, you know, they were excited for her, that she saw how, you know, a particular victim was able to save herself from being kidnapped. So we need to show that.
I was going to add to that, Mariam, the fact that Nigerians, non-Americans, know the Miranda rights.
Yes.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can be used against you because of not. You have the right to an attorney. We all know it. How? It's a movie.
Yeah.
We didn't read the American Constitution.
No.
They take their Constitution, break it down, and use it so that you have said, you arrest somebody, a citizen in Nigeria said, based on the Federal Constitution of Nigeria, on Section Kiniko, I have the right. And gradually, every Nigerian knows that. So when you say police stops you in real life, you tell him, based on Section Kiniko of this, I have the right to an attorney, I have the right to a phone. Because they got it. So don't use the lazy scripting of doing a movie.
And even the police can watch it and now realize how they should behave.
Yes. They can watch it and know how to behave. You go to the hospital and you say, they just tell you, sorry, you're sick or you're going to die. But in a movie, they break it down. They tell you what happened, the process. Because one of the things that affected me the most is that my mother and somebody had the same illness, the same sickness, same terminal disease. He went to Germany and was told categorically, based on almost very similar diagnosis, that you only have, they only have about, I think, the 3 months, maximum 3 months. In fact, they told the guy that if you don't leave now, your family will have to carry you out of here. I want you to go back to Nigeria immediately. From Germany, he had less than about maybe, I think it was about 8 weeks they told him. So he got home, the first thing he did was call his family members, put together his will, organized his burial, did everything. And within 2 weeks after he arrived in Nigeria, he was incapacitated. He couldn't move, he couldn't talk anymore. Because they told him, Nigeria, my mother had similar, they told her, we still have the 12 to 18 months. They kept telling her 12 to 18 months. We keep thinking 12 to 18 months. So we're thinking, okay, mommy, okay. She was coming down. If somebody had seen her result, it was after we got to your US doctor, and he's like, this woman had very less than like 2 months maximum, 3 months max. So we need where our movies are actually breaking, like, but we're having real life medical conversations in movies.
So with Nima, please, you know, you said a story about how we do movies and then we make the consequences very short. So we spend, you watch a movie that is about 1 hour, 30 minutes, or even 1 hour, and most of the movies would depict the life, fun, joy of criminality.
Yes.
And then there's just like 5 minutes towards the end, the criminal now suffers, and then the movie is over. So we spend so much time watching the beauty of criminality, and the movie is not showing that much suffering that happens on the other side of your criminality. It's short. We must expand our storyline. We must expand the narrative we're pushing. And while we cannot tell, and most of the Nollywood people we talk to, because we interviewed several of them, they'll tell you, we need to think of what is marketable. People want to laugh. So they don't want you to tell them how they are going to suffer with crime. But we must find that balance in sharing the story and painting the picture of the future.
And sometimes I feel it's laziness. If we're creative, we can still make people laugh and tell a good story. Yes.
And then there's not every movie that is a comedy.
Yeah.
So myself and my daughter were watching this movie, and that's one thing I hate about scripting this way. So a lady had been misdiagnosed of HIV. And in the movie, me, I didn't even watch fully. I didn't know the poor girl, all her attention was it, and I thought she was going and coming. She was sneaking into my room to watch that movie with me. I was the one watching, and I missed some scenes. So she noticed that she had already been given what do you call their drugs? Retroviral drugs, antiretroviral drugs. And that she had been using it, and she suffered some consequence from using the drugs. Then she became prayerful. And she, she changed, she repented, she became a better person. And doctor called suddenly and said she was misdiagnosed. Now that movie, diagnosed, my daughter started asking, what about the drugs that she was using, the consequence of it? The movie, and I just thought, are you watching this movie? And my only reaction was, get out, don't watch the movie. I did not answer the questions that she raised. The question was, the doctor who did that, no consequence. The effect of the drug. And the poor 9-year-old had noticed that.
Yes.
And so what is the NBC rating in that movie, for instance? Why is that movie, why is it supposed to be, and it's all over our face?
Okay,
you know?
Okay, see, artists are meant to just be artists and just express themselves and tell their stories. Even the Hollywood stories, they have stories that is about the crime. I think there's this particular very popular one about the heist, the bank heist, money heist. It's about the criminals, and you watch it and you want the criminals to win. But it is not for children. It's for adults that already know what is important, what is good, what is right and what is wrong, and what the consequences of criminality is. But this is just for entertainment. So artists can do that, but now in Nigeria, we don't do enough. I personally think we don't do enough when it comes to teaching our young ones how to do things, what is right, what is wrong in our local content. My children prefer Oyinbo movies. And there's a reason. My son keeps saying he wants to go to America. He is something American. I think he sometimes thinks he's American because that story, the amount of movies that tell all sorts of stories that find that they're relatable to them is a lot more than what we have here. There are few movies that I've had them watch here. There's this Smart Money Woman, and I was so proud of it because my children learned so much. So if we tell stories like that, we tell a romantic story, we tell a church story, you tell any sort of story, but also make sure that we learn from it. But as parents, you need to understand that you must guide your children through some content.
All right, let me take this call. So hold it for a while. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. You see, this topic Akon once discussed this topic before, I think last 2 years, that what America portrays about their movie is not their reality. But they try to sell America out. Why Nigeria film industry try to sell them on a good image? Because all this thing you see on the movie of America, that's okay, a policeman is chasing a armed robber, this and that, and they pop up between this and that. Many robbers in America still walk freely, not everyone they caught. But they try to sell America out in a positive image. Sometimes, okay, the police stop you, you said, they're like, okay, speak out the Constitution. I know my constitutional right. Bring out a video. Yeah, you can handcuff me. Yeah, this is my video. Make a video of this. But here in Nigeria, immediately you bring out a phone to record. The police are like, don't record that. If you know you are doing a genuine thing, let the person record that. Exactly. Your own information, and the other witness render his own information as well. They can combine the two. But immediately the police are like, no, don't record my phone. I will record my own. No.
Thank you very much, Owolabi. You know, there was a research I was doing. It's been a long time ago. I can't remember the exact data. But I recall that I read somewhere where American government was actually very intentional about sending Hollywood ahead. Because, especially during, I think World War II, they were trying to get the troops. Because we're hearing news about, oh, America was winning the war. And Americans are feeling really proud. When they started doing the movies of the reality that our boys were actually dying.
Their boys.
Their boys were actually dying. So Hollywood went ahead to come and show them the reality of why we need to stop this war. So sometimes Hollywood, even with the inventions, the phone, we've been seeing this thing happen in Star Wars, in many, where somebody will just show up, somebody will show up in front of you, and you think, how the technology.
I watched very old Star Wars, and I saw that people popped up.
So
do you know that people are popping up now?
Yes.
People, you can put a code, and then
even flying cars was sent ahead. Now we're having flying cars. There's something that the American government uses in war. I can't remember the name. I had it. I think it was Talos. I think it's Talos. It's an American suit. It's almost like it's almost like the Iron Man. God bless you.
They have it.
You enter. You can't blow it up. You enter somewhere and you can take in as much gunshots and nothing happens. It's called Talos. Google it. It's there. The point is that these things are sent ahead in Hollywood. So you are watching Hollywood, you go, wow. But somebody has already done the backward. And Hollywood is going ahead to show you and to condition your mind to accept it when it finally comes out in 10, 15 years. So your mind gradually gets conditioned. So we're asking Nollywood to condition the mind of our children. Begin to start it now.
Based on if Nollywood is doing the research. So Nollywood cannot just go because they see action movie in Hollywood and then come and do action movie in Nollywood. No. Nollywood must also be intentional about what they're pushing ahead. And it must be about a better society, carrying along the best part of our culture. Not about everything you copy and paste. That's why I just tired from
you need to do the research.
Fantastic. The research is missing.
Yes.
The easy thing, just do the script and write it out. Proper scripting. Moving on, we have Bright. Are you there, Bright? You're live. Don't listen to the TV. Bright, are you there?
Yes. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Bright. I'm calling from Abuja.
Welcome to the show. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for this topic. Look, I will say this quick one. Our reality is our reality. And one of the things I always love that tell people is that for those of us that have traveled abroad, when you go there are certain things you see on their movies that on reality is not there on ground. Let's start even from our news. There are certain news. Let me give you an example. During COVID, in the UK, my sister-in-law was in the house here with us. The news they were giving on the news, the number of people that died, when she got back, the day I called her, they said that 100 people have died now. He said, to 300. They have a way of streamlining those bad news that filters into the rest of the world. So in our own case, it's different. So I expect that our movies will be able to correct that, correct those abnormalities. I'll give you another example. Our banks now, you transfer money to yourself, bank to bank, they deduct charges from you. For what? Sending the same account, the same bank, you're transferring money to yourself. They deduct your money, service-wise. Thirdly, these days, I saw there's a movie last 3 weeks ago, if you people will see, a guy is trying to commit suicide, but somebody was videoing him. It takes 3 minutes. within 3 minutes, that guy's life will have been saved. So meaning that we also need to do a movie to let people know that health situation is a bad thing. I've not seen Nigerian movie that address that. All they address is that. And again, the separation in Nigerian movie industry is crazy. You have Yoruba, you have Igbos, you have the Hausa, you have everybody. These divisions cannot make us to be able to bring. We need to first sanitize it.
Right.
Let it be the Nigerian movie, not Yoruba, not Hausa, not Igbo, because you don't see their feature themselves. Because
thank you very much. See, the issue of CPR, we all saw that CPR can save lives.
Yes.
How did you say, movies? Yes. Call 911, CPR can save lives. It's movies. These are things we need to do. Yeah. How did somebody had a heart attack? Oh, he just died. You know, Nigerian movie has died. Just hit somebody with the car. Yeah, he has died. But there are ways of saving lives.
Movie we call the pastor. Yes, just like what you said about the HIV person. And the drugs didn't work, but the person prayed. So we have now taken people away from understanding that, you know, science can work for you. That's why, you know, sometimes when we talk about these topics, use your brain, use your brain. But when we watch Nollywood, it says, don't use your brain, call the pastor, go and pray. He will do it for you.
So while I appreciate that Nollywood has a lot to do, there's also the place of civil society. I feel so bad that Akifadeyi started a hugely successful project called Not in My Country. And that was supposed to help raise awareness of what the police is doing wrong, what they should do right, how we should react towards police officers, and bringing it to the fore. We need more civil society to do awareness campaigns on health, and it is done in short, beautiful skits that are engaging so that everybody can watch it and be like, oh, really? So this is what I should do when I'm confronted with this kind of situation. There is room for creativity. We've seen how social media has opened up many people's career path. Can a lot of our social media celebrities that are doing short skits also create a messaging that would leave a legacy positively in the lives of all those that are laughing at their comedies, and the money they're making from it will be...
So we've seen movies on Al Capone, The Godfather, and how they brought down all these drug lords. We've seen movies on how Wall Street was brought... You know, these are things, reality. We are complaining every day about banks. We're complaining every day about bank issues, the fraud. Let us do a movie on what happens in the banking system. You know, these are things that we begin to take away from... You won't focus on Buhari's problem.
No, we will create that the banking system was now dealt with. That some people now found a way to make the bank understand that we boycott you. So that we don't know how that will happen, but the movie will create the solution.
Or a person would know what to do, where to go to make some complaints and how you release. Because a lot of Nigerians, we just don't even know what to do. We think the most we can do is come on social media and rant about it, and hopefully one big man somewhere will call us and come and just resolve the issue. If we have movies that even show us, okay, the next place to go to is go to the police station, NCC, then you go to, you know, the Public Complaints Commission and things like that. We need to be more creative.
Those things now stick in your head. Oh, when I go to Consumer Complaints Commission, it sticks. Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there? Hello? Corey, are you there?
Hello.
Go ahead, please. You're live.
Hello.
On Facebook. Yes, you're live.
Hello.
Yes, listen to the listen to me, not the TV. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Okay, I think do you have any messages on Facebook?
We have messages on YouTube.
Yes, Nima.
So, Learning Chick says, have you seen the movie Red Notice, a criminal movie that still depicts the view of how the beauty of justice system when the criminal is caught, how the justice system is revered by the good and the bad. I don't think that one. So I can't imagine seeing Patient Ozoko to be my mother-in-law. Once I see her, I might divorce the man. That's from what she said.
Thank you very much for bringing that initial message to Nima. The justice system, that's a major issue we have in this country. The fact that law takes so long to come full circle. So we need movies that can actually let us see justice. Let us see people actually getting rape victims. It's not
meant to be real.
It's not meant to be real now.
An ideal society of where justice was served so fast.
And the whole there was a class action suit against maybe something. And then a whole industrial company was brought down because of the negligence on the part of the company. These are things we need to do. But the easy thing to do is the opulence. Let's drive in this nice, beautiful Ferrari, car, fine show, fine car. There was a recent, sorry, I'll come to you. There's a recent movie that just came out very recently. I'm very passionate about this topic. There's a recent movie that came out. Everybody's, I won't mention the name of the movie.
Oh my God, that movie.
All you saw was Ankara, makeup, wig. That is all we saw in that movie.
It was all black.
Ankara, makeup,
No
wig.
story.
That
no
movie.
plot, no story.
Nothing, no story. It was no connection, disjointed.
Oh.
You mentioned $20 million. We didn't hear anything about $20 million. After you mentioned it, nothing else happened.
Was scripted.
But
you have money for
horrible.
production.
That was
Paul
just
Williams
for
says the movies don't create realities. They encourage the reality narrative. For the example, the rampant production of runs, babes movies, which directly correlates with the high rate of runs and prostitution. This one, I agree. Hands up for the person who wrote it. Back when we were younger, it was a thing of shame. But the movies made it so popular. Every girl thought this was the solution to poverty. It became so, in fact,
to remember the name of that very
so
popular
painful.
one.
No. When they did Domitila, it was to discourage it. Domitila showed us the worst, the consequence, everything that it was not. But some people now made it a big thing. They did Lucky Babes. This,
Blackberry Babes.
I'm telling you, they sort of destroyed society with these movies.
Let me take this call from Michael.
This one.
Michael, are you there?
This one, no.
Hello, Michael, you're live. Hello, Michael, you're live. You're listening to the TV.
Oh, happy to receive you.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning, Mrs. Morayo.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I am a first-time caller too.
Welcome to the show.
Wow. I want to bless you so much for this message.
Yes, sir.
And I want to bless you so much for this message. The message you raised today is a very powerful issue.
Yeah. Go ahead. He's listening to himself. Listen to yourself, Mr. Michael. Yes.
Clara Adeyeye says Nollywood movies are so good at showcasing all the Bone Straight wigs.
Everybody don't feel
yes, so somebody else says, Morayo, please, Zubi has no blame here. The guy made the choice to go into kidnapping. We all agree.
Of course, we know that.
Somebody says, we need different movies, not just movies about making money or crime.
All our movies are go to Dubai, go to London, show opulence, show big cars, show happy, show life. That's it.
Let me make you laugh. There's one where they're supposed to show like a lowly person that doesn't have a lot of money, and then you now enter the room of the person, and he has everything that a rich person has, and you're like, okay, this person in the village, you know, we don't think things through. A lady that's supposed to be in the village and working on the farm, she's got nails done, she's got wig, but we know that the natural, you know.
Okay, we have Yakub in the building. What happened to you, Yakub? Hello. Are you there?
Good morning to you all.
What happened? Did you travel? Did you jackpot? What's going on?
Happy New Year.
Happy New
This is
Year.
the first time I called in this year.
Yes.
Throughout December, I tried all my possible best to call in, but I couldn't. Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. So I tried all my possible best to call in throughout December period, but I couldn't got in, even though there is some online stuff that took away some of my time. But I'm happy to call in this morning. Morayo, God Almighty Allah will continue to bless you from you and down to Miriam. You see, this topic is very, very important. Morayo, the question we need to ask ourselves is that who controls the movie in this country? Who is in charge of to control this movie? Especially where you turn on to your television and then you get to know. And then the movie that you are about to watch, after 18 years, you can watch this. So even we that we are older than 18 years, there's some certain things you saw in the movie that you had not to see. Why? Because you always see that these people smoking, they teach children how to manipulate some certain things. You get it? And then the question we need to ask ourselves is this. You see, we do respect to our movie makers. You see, mostly all of them build a mansion, build this, build that. Does it mean that the quality of movie that they're producing to Nigerian citizens give them this money? Capital, no. Without not taking anything from them. But the Tunde Kilano of this world, and then I forgot the other guy, the Tunde Kilani of this one. If you watch Tunde Kilani movie, I'm sorry to mention his name.
Thank you very much, Yakub. So you see, as much as I don't want us to put the blame too much on the movie makers. Just like you said earlier, they are creative people. But you see, the government must support them. You see, if you want them to push a narrative that helps to change Nigeria for better, the government must be very completely intentional and direct about this, where you're not just giving them money, throwing money at them, but you're calling a brief. Say, guys, I want you in technology. I want you in the justice system. I want you in this. Let us be very clear.
I want us to push in Lagos for this.
Let us be very clear and fund it.
Even if it is a low budget production.
Yes.
Let government be intentional, because you see the things that we call modern, that we push were not our realities, and they were not even the realities that we want, because we still hate those realities, but they're everywhere now. That's talking about that Ross babe. Somebody, Thomas says, people making money legitimately is also a reality. We have positive and negative realities. Why not show the movie of somebody that, you know,
works hard,
did the work, got the loan from, if it's BOI you want to push, got the loan from BOI, paid back the loan, did the bookkeeping, did the work, and, you know, can then say a success story. Don't come and show us a success story being, I've opened mansion, I bring big car, my mommy now jump on it.
Exactly.
We need to also tell the story of people who work 9 to 5, who work normal jobs and earn a decent salary. And they are happy and successful. Not everybody has to have a mansion and a Rolls Royce to be happy.
Let me take this call from Michael. Michael, are you there? Hello, Michael, you're live.
Good morning, too, Mr. Marital.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm an officer. I am an officer.
You're an officer. Okay.
Yes. This message you raised is constituting complete big problem for us in security in Nigeria.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do you know that most of the people that we fought were arrested? At the end of the day, they are doing from the film.
What? We didn't get that, Mr. Michael. Go ahead.
You can see the suspect today now telling you he got it from the film.
So that they get the ideas from the
I
films.
said they tell you they got it from the film, they watch film.
Okay. Okay.
The film they watch, from there, metamorphose into what they did in the society. Okay, can I tell you about the ladies today?
Yes.
The ladies today now, they go on bumper shots. They got it, they learn from the film.
Bumper shot.
Go to the institution today, you will see the ladies there. I'm sorry to say, the lady that was caught in a... I was caught in with the attacker issue. The material from the film. They go and draw. They show us draw.
Mr. Michael, I'm not really sure I hear you. Mr. Michael, so if the Nigerian citizens are watching the movies to get these ideas, can the police too watch the movies to know how to combat these things? Because let us all who watch and learn from the movies. If the people you are about to arrest are learning from the movies, you that you want to arrest them, know how to arrest somebody that is wearing bomb shots properly, with respect.
Let me help him.
You don't arrest people that wear bombs. Don't arrest people for bombs. Let's just put that out there. You cannot arrest people for wearing bomb shots.
He's not saying that. He's saying that when they go out, they say that this is, you know, this is what
is trending, and it's based on movies.
Based on what they see.
I'm talking about the effect of those negative things they show in the film.
Yes. Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, Mr. Michael.
And the constitute. You don't understand?
Yes.
You can see the person you brought to this film today, he got it from the film. He constitutes criminality, too much of criminality. Prostitution, armed robbery, smoking in their hand, stealing, robbery is too bad.
Okay. Thank you. You're very correct, Mr. Michael. So, is it from Tupac, right? No, he said.
No, it's too bad. I think
it's too bad.
So, based on available resources, you that have money to produce a movie might have just have a budget to do this. But we say it every time that Nigerian police don't have the budget to be combating crime the way that they would love to.
Yes.
If the police stations that we visited don't even have computer to do the research.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take more calls and messages on Facebook. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We have Julius from Ikpaja. Good morning, Julius. Are you there?
Yes, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Please, this really, what we're really discussing right now is not the error or the fault of the actors. This thing is really having some negative effect on some Nigerians. I'm a Cameroonian. My wife is a Cameroonian. There was a time I wanted to get married. One of the relatives said Nigerian people eat human beings because that is what she saw on the film industry. I was so surprised because that is what he said. They always act it, and that is what they do. I watched the news recently that the Hollywood in U.S. are trying to ban the smoking of cigarettes and big all these in their home or movies because it is really helping so many young men to do the same thing as they watch. So I think some of these things need to really be regulated because it's having a negative influence on our youth, and most of them are shallow-minded and they have nothing doing and they just copy.
Did you hear him? Yes, so just mainly saying that
the movies have effects on how the youths are shallow-minded and really have nothing to do.
With the actors, and it's true, the actors are just good actors for them to be able to interpret roles well.
People say don't blame the actors. The actors did a good
job. The actors
did an excellent job. So for you to look real enough.
This conversation is not about the actors, it's about the producers, the scriptwriters, and the government not paying enough attention to this thing.
So while all of that is going on, I had a conversation with someone who's not in any way in the media industry, but we had this conversation because I'm very passionate about pushing the right narrative. And I told the person that, why don't you sponsor movies? It's a business. Like, you can fund, because a lot of these movies can make the money back. They go to cinemas, they make the money back. So the idea is fund movies that push the narrative you're passionate about. We have too many Christians and too many wealthy Muslims for us to have lack of funds to produce quality movies that push the right knowledge and the right values.
Yes.
So here's something our rich people can do this year. All of us rich people, we can do this year. We can put our money into producing content, sponsoring content, get a good producer and tell them that you want movies that will push these kind of values, movies that will push this kind of talent, and fund them, get your money back and reinvest. You can choose to create a fund, a grant that would push a narrative. A church can create a grant to fund actors and actresses and producers to say, I want you to push movies that is not Christianese movie, because if you do Christianese movie, you might not get people to watch it. You push a movie that is narrative of values that are Christian, and it is a church funding it.
Let me take this call from Cynthia. Cynthia, are you there?
Because it will do more than your messages that you're preaching in church.
Cynthia.
Good morning. Hello. Cynthia, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, madam.
It's S-A-F-I-A, Sophia.
Okay.
Mariam will know better. My name is Sophia.
All right.
Please, the ladies of your view, can you kindly invite the chairman of Actors Guild? Because as a grandmother, I don't always like, in as much as it's entertaining, a scene that is supposed to be shot in an office. If you see the kind of mini skirt with high heels they wear in an office, what are they portraying? So I think the solution is, please, the ladies of your view, just invite maybe censor board to this place so that we'll ask them questions.
All right, Grandma.
Are they not no Actors Guild again? They don't censor what they wear. They should be dress code.
All right, Grandma Cecia, thank you so much. We get the point. I'll just, we get the point. We'll give them the feedback.
I'm sure they are hearing.
Also, we know that some genres there's generational differences.
But let me expand on what she's saying, because I mean, in some cases, she's right.
Okay.
Because there's some dressing that we see that's not who we are. So it goes back to trying to copy and paste from outside. The truth is that we can be dressed revealingly, but classily. You know, there's a way you can actually have a traditional outfit with a mini skirt, but you still look, you know, decent in a way. So I think I can understand where Grandma Cecia is coming from.
Well, you're closer to Grandma, I guess, than most of us.
I will throw this at you.
Oh my God!
But yeah, Victor Winner says, films no doubt have effects on the viewers. The responsibility of the filmmaker is to make films with government censors. The government censors the film, and the family has a responsibility to educate his members. So he's listing the people. The movie makers make the film, government censors it, family members educate their members on the what's good and bad in the movie that has been done.
Even Lagos State tried to do this. There are police vehicles around. Has the 112.
Yeah.
They put it at the RRS, you know.
Yeah.
So we need more of that. Everybody should have the numbers so that
Lagos State has a fund for the movies, the actors. They created a group, and they created a fund available to producers. And I think that they should also put a narrative that they want to push.
And I know Good Luck Jonathan also was very interested in that industry.
Let's take Ade. Thanks for calling from London.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Morning.
Yes, my contribution is that I support the last caller. If you invite them, then we can ask some questions, because we can't really blame these people, because that is the story they have. But we should encourage them to give us good stories so that we can learn and enjoy from it. You know, maybe they should just look for people that can write a better script for them, so that when we see the title of the film, then we'll know exactly maybe this is encouraging or not. Maybe like The Rich Also Cry, The Agony of the Widows. They can write story to such a title. Then people will learn from it. That's what I think. So,
thank you very much, Ade. All right, so we have to wrap up on this. I think we're done. I think we finished this.
Like we finished this.
Let's go on a break. Do you have any more messages so that we can run off?
So we should make movies about domestic. Okay, I know Agada says we should make movies about domestic violence, child molestation, child abuse, the injustice in the country, and the likes. And all we see in Nollywood movies is showing wigs, clothes, and big mansions.
Oladidi says, wearing winter jackets and boots for Nollywood movie under scorching sun always baffles me.
You can wear them in just movies.
I think that's all we can say. I think generally what we're just saying in a nutshell is that we do celebrate our actors.
Well
We're not
done.
saying they're doing a fantastic job. Nollywood has taken a lot of this feedback, and they've actually remodeled and revamped a lot of movies. So a lot of movies that we see today are refined from where we're coming from. What we're saying is that it's time to take it a notch higher, meaning that our scripts must be broader, must be more intentional, and our movies must have that direction of trying to reorientate and change society and paint a new picture of Nigeria to the new generation. So you've done a great job so far. We're not condemning. I think they've done a fantastic job so far, internationally recognized. But we're saying, let's go higher. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
100K. Thanks for staying with us. So, a clergywoman, Pastor Funke Felix-Adejumo, in a trending video, asked women to ensure they always cover their husband's nakedness, as there is no perfect man anywhere. According to her, stop celebrating your husband's failures. Is it because people are not telling you their own stories? You know what people have gone through and are going through. I mean, and this obvious went viral. You know, this plain, simple advice just goes viral like this. Anyway, because people are talking about it, we thought, you know, let us to share a few experiences on this. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also send us messages. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Do you agree or do you disagree? Yes,
quickly,
Nima.
let me do correction because I've embarrassed, according to the person, my sister, said the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, regulates terrestrial broadcasting, channels like yours and several other TV stations. They do not regulate channels like Africa Movies and MTV, that's the ones on cable. Okay. However, the National Film and Video Censors Board regulates the kind of movies distributed and sold within Nigeria. Okay. The ones that approve the movies in Nigeria. And NBC, however, monitors the kind of movies aired on the terrestrial TV. I should go and stop saying NBC.
No, NBC needs to check some because I've seen some movies on the terrestrial platform.
Don't mind that. Right. This is our new topic that we are discussing. I really agree with Pastor Jumoke-Adejumo on this. Nakedness being inferred, that no human being is perfect. And I've seen this play because I've seen some people that when things are bad, the people you tell about your husband's mishap when things are bad will retain the consciousness of what you've done, and they will not realize that maybe it's changed or things have gotten better. We say it in Yoruba for our parents. That means don't sell your family members cheap to your in-laws, to your husband, because you can't buy it back. If you disrespect your parents to your husband or to your family, your in-laws, they would disrespect, they would carry on that disrespect to people that you believe they should respect. So it's important we protect our spouse so that we don't just say husband. Men protect your wife, husbands protect your your wife protects your husband.
Protect Aranyisha.
Protect Aranyisha.
Yeah, so I mean, well, how come this story went viral? Why people?
I think it may have gone viral because a lot of times, and very recently, we've seen maybe celebrities have come out to talk about, oh, he hurt me, he did this to me, and you know, everybody seems to be talking about their problems on social media. A lot of people are coming to social media to discuss their issue. And we have always heard, you know, growing up about marital issues should be resolved between the man and the woman in the home, in the secrecy of the home. So I get her message, and I think it's an important message. We must cover each other's nakedness. I think that's what family and friends do for each other. We all have our weaknesses, and we rely on each other, you know, for strength. But another thing about this message, which we should be careful not to make it about, is that in keeping quiet about some nakedness, we do not allow some things fester. We're talking of domestic violence. We're talking of child abuse. You know, those are the things that sometimes when women come out or have been afraid to talk about because of messages like this, oh, cover their nakedness, but don't cover it to the point where it has to do with your own life, and your sanity or your children's lives.
So, for example, your husband is a pedophile.
You must speak up.
You must speak up.
If you are being busy, that's not a nakedness you need to cover. You must speak up. You must, you know, they've said a lot of times, the reason why some women die at home from domestic violence is because they are silent. And we have encouraged women to not be silent. Speak up so that you can get the help that you need. So we need to separate that.
So very good. So looking at the advice, we're taking it, but don't take it hook, line, and sinker. Saying that there's some areas you have to say, this guy,
No, I think what we should do is take the advice, and if the nakedness is a criminal, is a criminal act, then open the criminal act. If the nakedness is criminal, if the nakedness can lead to the loss of lives, if not the nakedness you cover, that one is criminal. Let justice system do what it should do. But other small petty issues.
But that's also very difficult to define, because to you, maybe to me as a woman, you know, the fact that he lies affects my mental health. Because he's constantly lying. He's a prolific liar. Concerning everything, how much he earns, how much he pays, how much he doesn't. And it affects my own mental dignity. So to you, it's not a big deal, but to me, it's affecting me. So please, come and help me. This man is always lying. I want to tell family, come and help me get involved with this. Are we saying that woman should be silent and keep your husband's nakedness as a liar?
The lie is a career liar.
There's some liars.
So what you call lie that you can't take might just be white lies that is.
I'm talking. Let's do extreme. I'm giving you an example.
Extreme.
How much she earns.
It's not life threatening.
It's not life threatening.
It's a fraud stuff. So for some women, the most flippant excuse they get. Just
out on the street.
And in the Hadith of the Prophet, you say there's an Hadith of the Prophet that guard the two openings. So when you're guarding your chastity, you're guarding your tongue as well. So most people can guard chastity. Even me, I find difficult tongue sometimes when I get aggressive. I want to do my own back. So guarding the mouth is very important. It's not everything. Because my parents too will say, when the dust dies down, the people that you have told, they don't forget. But you're in love. You forgive in love. You move on. You're going with your partner, then fast forward, somebody just comes and say, look on you. Maybe one fight you went to share. Or maybe one is a bad time that you shared. The people you tell, especially when they are loved ones of yours, family members of yours, the moment you share with them what your spouse is doing wrong or right,
so where do we
they don't let it go. They continue to use the standard to
Let me put it this way. So
I'm not talking of extreme criminals.
Yes. One line is criminality. Another line is don't report. I would advise don't report your spouse or your partner to someone who cannot solve the problem.
I know
exactly.
So if I'm reporting Nima to you, I know you can mediate between Nima and I. But if I report Nima
to social media,
to social media or someone in the makeup room or to my driver, that person cannot mediate or solve the problem. I am mainly just venting and disrespecting this, and I'll bring disrespect to the person. So you don't report or announce the issue that you know that the people that you are discussing with cannot solve that problem for them.
So when you're with your friend, your girlfriends, and your husband just did something to you that's really, really annoying, because your friends might not be able to mediate, because your husband might not even listen to them, don't bother. But if it's somebody you respect as a couple, then you can now vent, because you know that person will obviously hold that information in secrecy.
And then you have to also look, are you looking to mediate or are you looking to rant and vent? Because you're allowed to vent. And you're allowed to vent. Yeah, you're allowed to vent. You know, there are some people that listen to you. Yes. So there are people that would listen to you. They know you're venting and all the things you're saying, they know you would never do it and they will discourage you if you try to. But they understand that you need to just vent. But, you know, recently I read somewhere where it says, remember that a listening ear can also be a shouting mouth or something. So that person that you're venting to, be sure that that person is someone you can trust. Be sure that that person is not a talkative that just talks and talks and talks. So we have to be careful when it comes to that. It's okay for us to sit down with our girlfriends sometimes and just vent about things that are happening to us. And they make light of something that we think is so serious, like, oh, this would have killed me. And then they will laugh at it and you realize it wasn't a big deal in the first place. But if you're looking to mediate, if you're looking to solve an issue, then you have to go to the proper quarters. If your leg is broken, you don't go into the marketplace and be screaming, look at my leg. You go straight, good, you go straight to the hospital.
So that's something I learned in my early years of marriage. I had a very close friend who, at the time when I got married, we were just fighting. And I ranted to my husband. Me and my girlfriend crossed the line, because I will forget it later, we moved on and we were close again. And then I was just saying, this is my friend, and I called the name. I was like, that one that because I would love to forget that experience.
Yeah.
My friend too, we're both sorry, we have moved on, but I ranted to the wrong person. And the only example you can remember was that person.
So that happened to me too.
So a lot of times when we are ranting, we just want to rant. So sometimes maybe you rant to your mirror. Because if you're ranting about your loved one that you would still love, rant to your mirror.
Even so, that's important, because even you think your spouse is like the best person you can talk to. But there's some spouses you have to it's not everything you tell your spouse.
About some spouses that there are some things you don't have to share with your spouse.
Yes,
no, you might not even be sharing. The damage that you don't know is what for me, what I now experience, I just damaged a good friend who made a mistake, by sharing.
So what I'm saying is that, because I'm trying to make a point that, because you love your spouse and both of you are two have become one, There's some things, no matter how much you love your spouse, there's some things you know that he might not have the capacity to take.
Yes, yes. And he might not be able to move on from it.
Even when he's exhibited the capacity to, the damage is not in his capacity, the damage is in his recollection. See what happened that day. No intention, but the only example I can remember this, your friend, was...
Yes.
So I'm the one who did the damage.
That your friend has stole.
I'm the one who did the damage.
Yeah, let me take Abubakar.
Really.
Good morning, Abubakar.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
All right, then. So I wanted to comment on the idea of media being used to propagate.
Please, go ahead. It's your view. Let it count.
Society.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I want to say is that every nation on earth propagates its own idea. People talk about, World War III, but it's not about weaponry. World War III is a war that's going to portray on ideological fronts. Like, if you want a society to take on certain characteristics or certain behaviors, you propagate it through media, through art, or through education. That's how it's normally done. The question now is, Nigeria, how do we go about it? Because what I see in Nollywood films is that they take on Western values and they implement it in our movies. Like you said, you watched a movie that only has Ankara and all that. That's the only thing we can show to the world, is when we celebrate weddings. But what are these values that we have? What is our fashion? What is our way of thinking? Our orientation towards worldly affairs? What is it? We don't propagate it.
Right. Thank you very much, Abubakar.
Let me just also say this, especially because we have decided that social media is our best way of, is our best platform for expressing ourselves. And it goes beyond celebrities. Even those that are not celebrities, their information goes viral. Oh, my husband beats me, you do a video recording it, and then you post it online. Or, I just got this gift from this person, you put everything online. There are things, we need to draw the line between when we express this platform of freedom and the consequences of the freedom in future. They say Google no they forget, Instagram no they forget. They munch everything. You've vexed and typed something, and somebody will remember and show you in 10 years' time when you want to contest election that you said once upon a time that this and this and this and this. So we must definitely learn to protect ourselves. Somebody said here, Dale Amazon says, I still don't understand why some women go around talking about their husband's business to people who are just information collectors that won't help but mock them. So wisdom is profitable to direct. Let us have the power of discernment. Who is your friend? Who is in your corner? Who is your safe zone? Where is that place where you can...
happens when you are newly married, you know everything about your life, you share with your spouse, both of you are one, you just open your mouth, bow. But as you spend 2-3 years in marriage, you realize, okay, my husband can handle certain things. Because there's something, information I give to him, he uses it against me when we are fighting. Or you hold on to it, or it reminds you of, that's how the other day. You know, and as maturity sets in, you realize that it's not everything you open your mouth and say.
And there are times when in the beginning of your marriage, you are quarreling a lot because you're getting to know each other. Then you share with all your family and friends how you've been arguing and quarreling. Then you pass the 5-year boundary, and you guys have now reconnected, you have now grown, and they will now look at you and say, but then your husband, is he still quarreling?
I'm laughing because I remember in university, my friends and their relationships, every time they would come to complain about their boyfriends. I had nothing to say about my boyfriend, so I used to cook up lines. So that I would feel a box, so that they would feel left out. Like, even me, he did it, but no.
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I want to contribute on the issue of movies.
Yes, sir.
How it influences the national psyche or the national values. What we are talking of is leadership. Our leadership will have to lead from the front. It's not just that also we lead everything to fly. Even the movie industries is very critical to national development. So we have to passion out our vision and mission. What is the country trying to achieve? What do we want to achieve? Even the BBC or the Your Views program should work towards that vision or achieving that vision. Is it that we want to have education? We want to have a national feeling, maybe we want to create citizens people who have pride in their country.
Right.
So we need to use the movie industry, not only using it. When we want to talk on security, the police, we want to see budget in the police budget, which we for national.
Thank you, Imran. You just reminded me of the movie Three Idiots. It's an idiom and education.
Powerful.
It's an education. Smart, geniuses. These are things that, storyline that just lying down in the streets of Lagos. Anyway, going back to our story. So, talking about newly married couples especially, because I think what Pastor Felix-Adejumo is trying to say is protect each other.
Yes.
We become vulnerable. And we express everything, we tell each other. Spouse, men, especially men to women. A woman tells you her whole entire life, those have hurt her. And she still, because she loves Tokwe, she wants to reconcile with Tokwe. But you still hold on to what Tokwe did to her 15 years ago. So we're using this opportunity to say, listen, allow people to heal. And be able to forgive. Once they're forgiving somebody, you forgive alongside. We should train our minds to do the same thing for parents.
Your young son-in-law, daughter-in-law makes mistakes, but they're just starting. I love my dad. God rest his soul. Some very important advice that you need. With time, certain things that shock you will make sense. They'll fall in place. Apostles, they will make sense later. You're able to take them more. But the moment they happen, you're shocked, you just want to scream or talk to someone. Be careful how many you are releasing. Find someone who can handle it, to share it with, so that it doesn't go far. And that doesn't become the image of your spouse that everybody has. And parents-in-laws, let's go of that one-time experience because the couple are moving on and you are still living in that.
Or even 5 times. Andrew says, let's talk, more listening is the key for a wise woman. I'll say for a wise man as well. That's why somebody also commented that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we do more listening and less talking. So we all agree on that.
Hey, we have to wrap up. I think that's all we can take. Final words, Maria?
Yes, we are in relationships to truly protect each other. We're not perfect. No one is. Our husbands aren't. We, as wives, as spouses, we're not. And, you know, when we work together as a team, protecting each other, cannot but help for it. You know, we'll be stronger. Our children will be better for it. Yeah.
Totally agree with you.
And do you have any final words?
I want to say that on the first topic that your view has a vision, and the vision is to give people a platform to express their opinion, listen to one another, disagree, yet hear one another. I think as a country, when we have a vision of what we want to achieve, we can then rally everybody to push that narrative in movies and all of that. So let's do that one, get a vision.
Oh, fantastic. I think we can end with that.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we can take on the show today this weekend.
Yes!
I got a party on Sunday.
A party tomorrow.
Are we taking your booster?
No, but I have to.
Booster.
I'll get booster.
Can't get booster today. Can't get booster.
I will wear face mask.
See ya Monday. Take a good weekend. Bye-bye.